So we have a small turnout, that's okay. We are recording this so that it can be streamed later. So if you have questions, just recognize that you'll have a video presence. I'll begin by introducing myself and have everyone here introduce themselves. Then we have a short introductory presentation on Chinese language instruction. And then Ashley White will be talking about her experience and scholarship at Ocean University in Qingdao. My name is Robert Liberty. I'm a lawyer, but my connection with the law school here is helping Dean Michael Moffat and Professor Eric Priest in the programs to engage the law school in exchange with students and faculty between China and the United States. Eric?
So I am Professor Eric Priest. I teach intellectual property law here. And I have a particular interest in this program because I've been a sort of a student of China for many years. I first went to China in 1997, then I went there in 1999 as a student myself and lived there for a year. Ended up living there again some years later. And I've been involved in developing the relationship between the law school and Chinese law schools. In fact, Dean Moffat and I just returned from a trip to China a week and a half ago, where we in 10 days we went to 7 Chinese cities and met with 7 Chinese law schools. And that is a follow-up trip to a similar trip we took a year before. So one of the things that we're really looking to do is to provide these kinds of opportunities to our students, where students can get a more internationalized education, where students can learn about the fastest growing economy in the world. So I certainly encourage students to consider these opportunities because, as I think Ashley will talk about soon, this is actually an amazing opportunity for students to not only expand your this sort of and internationalize the scope of your legal knowledge, but also to enhance your career opportunities.
My name is Joel Smith. I'm a Jiba.
And particular interest in China?
I took a year of Chinese in the summer once at UCLA. That was fun. But it's one of those things where if you don't continually use it, you lose it. So.
My name's Justin Morehouse. I'm a 3L. I'm kind of a business tax specialty I'm working on in the law school. And I heard a little bit about this program last year, but then didn't, so I was curious when I saw the flyers to learn more. Because, I'm fascinated by China, just the rate of growth and influence in the world. I feel like it's really important.
My name is Nancy Pierce. I work for Congressman Peter DeFazio's office, and I'm here during my lunch break.
My name is David White. I recently just returned from China with my wife, and while she was getting her master's, I was teaching English.
Ashley, you'll be introducing yourself, and we are going to begin with a little presentation about an immersion program for Chinese language that if you decide you wish to take advantage of the scholarship program might be very helpful to you. And we have Jan here from the Confucius Institute.
Thank you for giving me this opportunity to introduce our Confucius Institute's courses. I am Llm Program from the Confucius Institute. We offer the cultural workshops as well as the language courses. We have the intensive regular Chinese course and also the LT 199, which is specifically offered to students with specific needs. So that's the course that I'm going to introduce to you all. So first, this course, okay, so let's see why we would like to choose 199. Because first, it caters to students with specific needs. So if you are the beginner, you have no Chinese background, in China, and we can provide you the materials about the news materials, like the very authentic materials. So that's what I'm going to say, caters to students with specific needs. And second one, it is divided into small classes. Usually the class will have five students, around 5 students. So which means that you will have more opportunities to practice Chinese with the instructors. And then the third one is the schedule is very flexible. It's not like the regular Chinese class, which is on the dark web, which says that this course will decided on like 10 o'clock to 11 o'clock. No, it's flexible. You need to discuss with the instructors based on your available time. So usually at the very beginning of each term, we can discuss about the time schedule, and then we decide the schedule together. So it's very flexible. And the fourth, it has credit and non-credit classes. So for the non-credit class, it has only $125, and very easy to register. You just pay the money to the Llm Center account, and where you can just take the course for 9 weeks course. So this course you can meet with the instructors 2 hours a week. So you can separate these 2 hours into 2 days, or you can just have these 2 hours together in terms of class. So, and the fifth one is if you take CI's courses, it will give you the opportunity to win CI's scholarship, which means that you can Hamdan will sponsor your study in China based on what you have gained in HSK test. And so the premises is that you first take the CI course. So if you're interested and then how to register that, it's very easy. You can register through the Mother Language Center. Just to go to this website and click it, and then you can register it. So as I have said before, you can register for credit and non-credit. For the non-credit, you just pay the cash at the counter. Okay, so it's very easy to register. And if you have interested in our Computer Institute's events, since we have the cultural events and we have the language courses, if you are interested in those, then to find more information, please contact our office. It's in Gardner 103, and the email is confuciusinstitute@uoregon.edu, and the phone is here. So, and I also have the sheet for contact information. If you are interested, would you please leave your name and your email and phone number here. So if we have very updated events, we can just send you the emails and to inform you. Okay. Thank you. That's my presentation. Thank you very much.
Thank you for doing that.
Thank you.
So, welcome someone new, and remind me of your name.
Sorry, Jen Gleason from New York.
So I should say we're very grateful that Ashley's taking part of her vacation time to come here and make presentations, one here at lunchtime and the other this afternoon. If you know of anyone who might like to attend the afternoon presentation, it's at 125 Mackenzie Hall on the other side of the campus at 4:30. Ashley, thank you very much.
I'm Ashley. I recently returned from 14 months studying in China as part of Llm University's Llm Program in Environmental and Natural Resources Law. This is my contact information. If you have any general questions about my personal experience, the last slide of this PowerPoint will have specific contact information for the program director and assistant to the program, and also the International Education Center at the university, Ocean University. So just to provide a brief background, Ocean University of China is located in Qingdao. It's on the coast, right across from Korea on the Shandong Peninsula. It's about an hour flight from Beijing or Shanghai, either way. It's a small Chinese city of 8.7 million, and it's frequently considered one of China's most livable cities. It's known for its coastline, the mountain range. It has a really interesting German history. The turn of the 19th and the 20th century, it was a German concession up until the Japanese came in, and so perhaps Qingdao is most known for its beer, which is a reflection of the German influence. Also in the last decade, China has completed the world's longest oversea bridge over the Jiaozhou Bay. It's about 16.5-mile bridge over open water. And it's a very popular tourist destination, especially in the summertime. It's also known, it was one of the host cities for the 2008 Olympics. And interesting enough, it's 45-minute flight from Seoul, and it has a significant Korean population there, which also influences the culture. So it's a really interesting international city without having the large Beijing and Shanghai characteristics. And I've provided some of my personal pictures that I took of Qingdao to give you an idea. Just an aerial view of Qingdao from as our plane is landing. And this is one of the main areas in Qingdao May 4th Square, and then the Marina City where the sailing competition for the 2008 Olympics was held. Also, from the peak of Laoshan Mountain, looking down, you can see, I'm not sure how well, but a haze of smoke pollution hanging over, and then the coast below. This is Zhangqiao Pier, which is seen on the Qingdao beer bottle. It's 1906, I believe, was built. It's really interesting. In the center of the old town in Qingdao. So a little bit of background for Ocean University of China. It was established in 1924, and it has 3 separate campuses scattered throughout the campus. Yushan campus is in Old Town, Qingdao, and that's was the site of the original university. Today, most of the activities for the university are between Fushan campus and Laoshan campus. And so the law school is housed on Laoshan campus, and it specializes in, if you can guess by the name, law of the sea and marine environmental law. And I know you may know this, there are other LLM programs available for international students, but this is the only one that really specializes in environmental and natural resources law, and a lot of the other programs are in Beijing and in Shanghai. So I'll talk about the scholarship in a moment, but this is a typical international living arrangement for the international students, courtesy of Gabe Jennings. He's still in Qingdao completing the program. You'll share a room with 2 other, maybe 3 other international students, and you'll have your own individual bedroom, and then a common area and a kitchen and a bath. So it's very nice compared to the dorms for the Chinese students are much smaller. So a little bit of background about the LLM program. In 2012, Ocean University of China, OUC, offered the 2-year LLM program. It's 4 semesters for international students, and the current participants are from India, US, South Korea, Tanzania, the Ivory Coast, and Colombia. Courses are primarily taught in English by Chinese professors at the School of Law and Political Science, but each semester they try to have 2 visiting professors from abroad come and teach a class. And a lot of the classes, most of the classes, the program participants are in their own classroom with just the international students, But by having the foreign professors come in, you have the opportunity to take classes alongside Chinese students and provide an interesting perspective from your Chinese classmates. The program requires you to complete 31 credits to receive the degree, and then there are internship opportunities available. Personally, I had an internship at the end of my first semester during the winter holiday at a law firm in Qingdao, and it allowed me the opportunity to practice my legal Chinese and translate some documents for the firm. And there are also a number of environmental organizations that are establishing offices in China that offer internships in China for those programs, so that's also a possibility. So just, this is sample the classes that you might encounter. This is my schedule that I had for the 4 semesters, and the asterisks indicate the classes that were taught by the foreign professors or team taught with a Chinese professor and a foreign professor. So those classes may not be available and change according to the international professor. Your first semester, you'll really be focusing on the Chinese language. There's no prior requirement for prior language studies. So and that's the case with most of the students. They had never studied Chinese, so that's not a barrier you have to worry about. So you're 20 hours a week, 8 to 12, Monday through Friday, and that's you're going to be in classes that are with college students or graduate students who are in other programs or solely just studying at OUC for language. And then you can see that from the fall semester to the spring 2013 semester, that second semester is where most of the law classes are offered. This is 20 credits worth of the 31 credits, just this second semester alone. So it's more intense legally than your first semester. And then your third semester is also considerably light, and that's where you'll be required to defend your dissertation proposal. And that is also the reason why I'm here, because the semester ended early, and so I was able to come back, and this is my 4th semester, and I will be finishing up my dissertation during this time, and I'm able to access some sources and information that was not available in China. Another really neat benefit of participating in a program like this, you're not just in the classroom learning the law, but you also have the opportunity to go out and class excursions that help illustrate some of the things you're studying or just better understand China. So these are, in each, I think we did 5 different excursions for 5 different classes, so the professors were able to coordinate those experiences according to what we were learning in the classroom. We visited the Llm Reservoir, where most of the city, most of this area receives a significant portion of its drinking water. And so we were able to meet with some of the officials at the reservoir. This bottom right photo is myself and some of my classmates with one of the judges at the local Llm District Court. And finally, bottom right, a trip to a local cherry farm. We also visited a law firm and a marine park as other excursions during the time there. So here are the details of the scholarship. And I also brought back some brochures that have more substance about the scholarship and the requirements. So please, if you're interested, pick up the 2 brochures over here on the table. The scholarship is called the China-U.S. High-Level Consultation on People-to-People Exchange. This includes an exemption from registration, tuition, course materials, and on-campus accommodation costs. So the rooms, the living quarters that I showed in previous slides, that would be included in the cost of your scholarship. Each month you receive 1,700 RMB, which as of today amounts to about $280. And then upon arrival, you get a one-off subsidy of approximately $250. There's medical insurance, part of the university as an international student, so if something happens to come up, you can get reimbursed for any medical costs. And free Chinese language classes and the materials that are associated with that aren't offered for international students during that first semester. And I encourage you to contact the international office, or probably the best bet would be to contact Yuming and Feifei, who I have their contact information at the end. This scholarship, they have to renew it every few years, and so it's expected to be renewed, but it ends, this cycle ends at the end of this year. And so check in January. Even if it doesn't get renewed, there's the same exact scholarship available to all international students, and there's no limitation to just American students. That has the same exact conditions and benefits. So the scholarship will be there. Just check to make sure that you're fulfilling the application requirements. And so, again, this is not an official how to apply for your scholarship, but it gives you an idea of what, if you're interested in the program, what you might want to be thinking about getting. Usually the deadline's in late March, and so things like the foreigner physical examination form will require a little bit of time to set up an appointment with your doctor to get the official stamp that you're healthy and able to travel. Also getting copies of your degree, your official transcripts, and completing your study proposal. That takes a little bit of time. So check with either the office or the International Education Center online, just to be sure. And so this is all the contact information. Again, feel free to contact me if you have any specific questions about my personal experience. The International Education Center's website is on the screen, and then there's an option once you get to the page to click English if you can't read Chinese. And then the program director and the program assistant are wonderful, and their English is great, so feel free to ask them for the most up-to-date information about the application process for the program and the scholarship. So any questions?
So I'll just jump in here quickly and say that, and thank you so much for
Yeah, no
this
problem.
presentation. In addition, feel free to contact me because, again, we actually have an agreement signed with Ocean, so they're a very close partner. I just met with Feifei and Professor Yuming just about 2 weeks ago. And so if you want to apply for the program or if you have questions about it, I'm a good first stop. My email address here is just my last name, priest@uoregon.edu. So anyway, just wanted to add my contact info.
Do you know if there are other LLMs available to English-speaking students besides the environmental?
There are. I know that there's programs, I know of the programs in Shanghai and Beijing, and there are more general LLM programs, maybe specific to business, or there might be an intellectual property.
There are, yeah.
They're
there are some.
to tailor to your interests, and they're longer. They've been around longer, so there are other opportunities out there, and there may be some of the scholarships, especially the China government scholarship, would apply to those programs as well.
Yeah, and I'll also jump here and add that they, so there, we for example, when Dean Moffat and I were in China a couple of weeks ago, and again, most of the schools we've already met with before, and so these are kind of ongoing things. But most of these schools have some kind of a program like this. Not all of them offer this kind of a scholarship. The scholarship is actually provided by the Chinese government, but at least one other school that we are currently negotiating an agreement with, it will offer a full scholarship, and that is Southwest University of Politics and Law in Chongqing. And Chongqing is actually China's largest city, and Southwest University of Politics and Law is a very good school there. And so they offer a more sort of broad international LLM program, and again with this type of scholarship. Yuming did tell me, she said, we guarantee that any U of O student who applies, any qualified U of O student who applies will get this scholarship. So Ocean is a good option. We also met with a university called Xiamen. They are a top law school in China. I think they're top 10 law school. They also offer a LLM program, I think 2 years like this program. For that one, I think they weren't as forthcoming with scholarships. But again, the government scholarships are available, and we can certainly help you apply for that if you're interested in one of those programs.
Question?
Not right now.
I will add that it's not a requirement that you have had prior experience in international or environmental law, international law. I did going into it, but I know that Gabe hadn't. He graduated from law in 2012, I believe. He didn't, so he's benefiting from the program as well. So you can kind of tailor your time in China to whatever you're interested in most, whatever program.
I have a question, Ashley, and anticipating questions that students might have, although it's been decades since I was one. How challenging did you find studying Chinese, and what kind of grades do you have to get in order to receive a degree?
So in regards to the challenge of studying Chinese, I actually started studying as an undergraduate student and spent time in China, and specifically Shanghai, 2 semesters while I was an undergrad. So I liked the challenge. I had studied other Romance languages before, and just personally, I like it. I like the challenge. So I think with any language, being in China or being in whatever country speaks that language is the best way to learn the language. So what I took many classes in college in the classroom, but I learned my Chinese when I was living with a host family or on the streets talking with people. So that's my experience with Chinese. And then your second question.
What kind of people are concerned
Grades.
about the performance of class and the grades you have to get?
To qualify for the program, or once you're there?
Once you're there,
You have to get 70 or above in the classroom, and the grades that the professor gives varies. Typically, what I understand and what I encountered in the classroom, the Chinese professors are more inclined to give lower grades, but there were students in the program. None of the students had any difficulty meeting the 70 requirement to get a degree.
What do you plan to use your LLM for?
Well, going into it, I wanted a way to combine my prior experience in China with my law degree that I received, and saw this program as a way to merge that. I'd like to do something in international environmental law, maybe lucky enough to involve China into that. So we'll see after I finish my dissertation what direction that leads. But to, personally, my husband and I would like to be in the States, so there are many opportunities that are in China that you could also be looking at too, so.
But you can't actually practice law as a foreigner, correct?
I can't practice law in China unless I take the bar exam somewhere here.
So foreigners can take the bar exam in China?
It's in Chinese, and it's very difficult.
Yeah.
So I think it's open to them, but I don't know many that do. Some have, but
And what's the cost of living in that particular city? Like, how far does the 1,700 RMB get you?
that's a good question. So you're taking out your housing, so you don't have to worry about that. You can live off of 80 RMB, 70 RMB a day. So divide that by 30. It depends on your income. I know the students are able to, the ones who live on campus, the international students, are able to do it without having a job off campus or something that works. So,
Like, for example, what would a very common cell phone plan run you a month?
you buy, so it's kind of a pay-as-you-go. I think maybe 100 RMB for 3 months. So,
If you're not using data.
yeah,
Data's still pretty cheap, but it's
Yeah.
more expensive.
I had just a call, I couldn't text, but no smartphone. So.
So you-
The cost, transportation is really cheap too, it's 1 RMB to take the bus, so, to go downtown, if you're living on Laoshan campus, you can do it for 1 RMB.
And how far from town campus?
About an hour.
So far enough that
If you're
you're-
on the Laoshan campus. The Fushan campus is much closer to downtown, and that's 5 minutes away, you can walk there.
So the distance of Llm campus to downtown reflects traffic. Even if it's at midnight, it's more like 30 minutes,
Yes.
or 20 minutes.
Yeah, on a bus where they're doing stops, it'll take you about an hour. You can take a taxi and get there much quicker. Taxis from Laoshan to downtown, probably 40 RMB, 45 RMB, depending on the time of day.
What did you find that was most valuable outside the classroom experience?
I think I would say that outside the classroom is the most valuable in understanding China. I think being able to talk with people, talk with your Chinese classmates about what do they think about X policy, Y policy, and the current political situation, and you get an honest answer. And you get a sense of how things really are, because a lot of things are about face and appearances in China. And so you might not get the most accurate answer when you ask a question. And by talking to people and getting their perspectives and kind of creating an image of China in whatever question you're asking, that's the best way to do it.
What is the makeup of the classes in terms of the demographic, national background, that sort of thing?
So legal education in the U.S. is different from abroad, and so I had classmates from Korea, India, and Tanzania who didn't have a JD, and so the requirement for the program is only a bachelor's degree, and they had a bachelor's degree, and what's required to practice in their country varies, but you can major in law as an undergraduate and then take an exam and you're a lawyer. And so Gabe and myself had JDs, but the other international students did not.
And there isn't a requirement for the degree, undergraduate degree to even be in law, is that right?
No, it's not, that's not a requirement. One of my classmates from India was a fishery scientist, and so he didn't have a legal background, but he was interested in the program because of his background in fishery sciences.
When is the presentation set due? When and where?
It's at Mackenzie Hall at 4:30, room 125. folks? Yes, Mackenzie Hall. This one doesn't say.
Room what?
Room 125. And Mackenzie Hall is the old law school, as
Yeah.
I recall. Yeah, 125. So if you want you think other people would be interested, send them an email. This will be available for
So
study.
yeah,
through the
I'm
law
shooting a message to the kid who's the head of the pre-law chapter there now, Sam's son, who I think is Chinese, but he's American Chinese. Anyway, so yeah, he sent me back. So hopefully we'll get some pre-law kids there too.
What was the biggest challenge?
I think just getting used to living in a new country, different cultural values and expectations, and trying not to offend those values when I may not understand them completely. So just being conscious of that, being sensitive that I'm a guest in their country, and the way I think something should be may not be the case or accurate where I am in China. And so through time, after the 14 months, getting to the point where, okay, I'm no longer a tourist, and I understand where I'm going, and I understand what's expected of me. Getting to that point was the goal and the challenges along the way associated with that.
Did the law school provide anyone to act as a sort of a cultural guide for you?
They did. Day one, we walked into the office, and there were Chinese students who we were matched up with and able to answer any and all questions that we had. Became close friends with them. I became really good friends with the student who I was matched up with, and throughout the year we went on a language exchange because she was studying for her IELTS to attend law school in the U.S. and I wanted someone to have private language practice with, and so we were able to do that, no cost to either of us, and she's now at the University of Arizona, and I benefited from that relationship immensely with the Chinese language practice.
Is she in the JD program at the University of Arizona?
The accelerated JD, yeah, so 2 years.
One other question, the law school is moving into a new building, so that's correct. Is that in next month or?
That I believe is happening in December, so they're moving now. And I have a picture of that. That was one of the slides. It's a beautiful building. So right now, the law school is housed with other departments and other majors. And so this bottom picture here is the new law school, right across the road from the existing law school. The top picture I was taking outside my classroom of the rest of campus, the library, and so I'm taking this picture across the road from the new law school.
And the mountains are kind of in the top picture over your shoulder, and it's a very beautiful location.
It is. It is.
Yeah, when I was a student in China at Qingdao, I went there twice, just by myself on vacations, just because it's such a beautiful city. It's my favorite city to visit.
Yeah, I'd done a lot of traveling when I was an undergraduate, visiting a lot of other Chinese cities, and I have great friends in Shanghai. I love Shanghai, but I'm so glad that I was in Qingdao. Just the quality of the air throughout most of the year was very good compared to other Chinese cities. The size is nice. It's international enough city, but it still maintained a lot of its Chinese character. So I think it has the best of what you're looking for.
Other questions? Welcome.
Well, I got the email like 10 minutes ago, so.
So there will be another presentation at 4:30 in Mackenzie Hall, room 125.
I'll be in class with that.
Okay, well, maybe you can linger.
Yeah.
Actually, I'll show you chat afterwards.
Yeah, of course.
That'd be great.
And if you're interested in learning more about this program, why don't you bring me your email? So I'm Professor Priest. I teach intellectual property courses here. But if you leave me your email address, then I'll know that you you're interested, and I can send you more materials and, sort of let you know if I hear anything more from our Chinese partner schools about scholarships and that sort of thing.
This program is being recorded and will be streamed through the U of O website, so you can also let other people know about it. It's nice of you to offer. It's not unlimited time. She does have to do her dissertation. One other thing I was going to ask too, which is how much interaction did you have with the undergraduate law students or Chinese students that are not in the international program?
I had a lot personally because one of the requirements of the program is an elective class, and it can be fulfilled by your Chinese language class, but I wanted to take some classes in Chinese, and so I ended up taking a movie and TV studies class as part of my elective, and so I was with the other graduate students across the larger OUC campus, and then I had Chinese friends and from other parts of campus or other parts of the city. So personally, I know that Gabe also had a good relationship with his cultural aide or Chinese student who was matched up with and doing weekly calligraphy lessons. And so it's really what you make of it. You can, if you want to have Chinese friends, you're able to, but it's also possible to just stay within your bubble of international students. So it's really how much effort you're willing to put into it and what you want out of your time there.
Other questions? So there's some information from the Confucius Institute about their programs, which might be helpful if you're preparing to take up one of the scholarships. Professor Priest has offered his contact information both about this program at Ocean University of China and other kinds of programs with different emphases that might be useful to you. So please stay in touch. I believe Gabe Jennings, who's in Qingdao now, has offered to Skype with people when the connections are good, which tends to be early in the morning or late in the evening if you have personal questions about what the program is like. It sounds like I think Ashley, you said that you looked at some other programs elsewhere. You really believe this was an exceptionally good program.
I think so. I got it exceeded my expectations and the goals I wanted to set for myself. And I think just in terms of Qingdao, I wanted to live in other cities.
Thank you very much. Stick around and maybe do some showing the slides there. Jess is going to, all of this is still being recorded, but he'll be out in about 10 minutes.
Okay.
Any bad jokes will be recorded. Why don't, if you could, if you would send an email if you were visiting today with students, priest@uoregon.edu.
Yeah, that would be helpful.
Priest@uoregon.
I'll have you next semester, so I have to.
Excellent. Great. Excellent. Good.
So,
I will say that.
Thank you, Robert. So I'll see you at
2 o'clock.
So she said, 129 for the whole course, which was what, 8 weeks or 9-week course. Good deal. See you in a bit.
See you in a bit.
Thinking about going to intellectual property, which feels like it's a reasonable fit because I have a science background.
Yeah, no, one of the best professors I have there, first semester, and she taught me introductory
24th, you know, be married.
Okay,
I
yeah.
was sitting right there, and I checked my email, I was like, 1:30. I was like, well,
No, that's fine.
I was like, oh, it's 1:05.
So when you were in China, where were you?
Beijing.
Beijing? Okay. How old were you?
I was, 20. Good luck to you.
22, okay. Alright, so, did you get to do a lot of traveling? Have you been to Qingdao before?
Yes, I did check that out. I've been over most of the country. We spent a long time in Beijing, actually, so
Okay.
I didn't cheat.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. So, I mean, you know, yeah. Yeah, so, do you have any questions specific to the program?
As of right now, I learned about it
Yeah.
10 minutes ago. Everything else from there.
Okay, so it's a master LLM program that specializes in environmental and natural resources and law. And so these sample classes kind of what.
David, you had already studied Chinese, or you studied Chinese over there?
I took some classes over there, but
You don't need
we were
to
kind of
have
encouraged in language school
To have, like,
to use English, so
Uh-huh.
we
No,
Because I had the HSK.
did that.
Right.
Through the school, I had, you
and
know,
so,
some language practice.
This class,
I had taken
this,
Chinese
Oh,
language
you took
class.
well, you
in
could probably
undergrad.
do what I did, and I
We
took
kind of did
a elective
a
class.
language swap, so
Grad university.
fluent in
program.
Spanish, and she took a semester.
And so you have your
or,
pick of
Spanish, and I took a semester of Chinese.
classes taught in Chinese to graduate
Flipped
students,
languages,
Chinese
so
graduate
it's
students,
kind of
and
fun.
anything,
Yeah.
and you can see by the class I took, it was offered in violin,
building
or
on my
like,
teaching
mid,
experience and
spring.
my specialty was kind of ESL, teaching English as a second language, which I did
No, not
here in
classical.
Oregon, so. kind of
Warring
build on
States
that
period,
into
like poetry or
experience
something.
different age
And
over
so,
the years.
there are other classes,
So
singing
did
class.
parents pay for this? Was it like private?
do-
Yeah, it
and
was,
then for
it
the-
was
what
a
was
private
good for the-
language school, so,
For the,
my work hours.
No, that's okay.
I figured it out.
that's okay, no, I did that too.
Weekday
For the
evenings, and
international
then
students,
my business days
they,
were Saturday and Sunday on
their
the
classes
weekend,
taught,
so
the courses taught are
really when the
in
kids weren't
English.
in
And
school.
so they might need some
There's a little bit more
conversational
flexibility with the
that
formula
also
because
needs
they
that
were
requirement. So my
in school per se,
recommendation to
so
you would be to
those
do
classes
something
were
like that,
in
to
the
take
afternoon, start
something that
but
is appealing to you
majority were on the
in
weekends.
one of the Chinese track.
Parents had paid for the program.
And so,
A course, whatever level they were
so
in,
you're
was about
interested in
40,
IP.
48 weeks.
you
So
would get a lot of
did your
that in
institutional host, how did you
the
get the
intro to
job?
Chinese system class.
When we figured out
And
you were,
because
or she was gonna apply for the
there aren't
program and
case law
I wanted
is
to
not
come
used
to,
the
I
same
just
way.
did some kind of searching
I would say so,
online,
but that's good.
some of the websites
Yeah.
that
So, but
or
if
search
it
engines
is
that I was
like
familiar with for
IP
like,
or other
second
business
language jobs
litigation
overseas.
issues,
And
the
just
law,
kind
the
of
law is
stumbled
similar, because
upon
like
this one.
these international
And,
treaties and whatnot, so a lot of the
Wrote
case
an
law.
email, made the connection, and we had
Covering
an interview
was
on
from
Skype to get a little bit more information, and then
So,
It worked
because
out
of the
from there,
scholarship,
But was there a private
this is the
school
scholarship,
then that hired you to
and I
be the
mentioned,
tutor?
yeah, so it was the school itself, so they provided kind of
the
the
scholarship, they renew it every
the
year.
work visa, so I was able to go there with the work visa, so that made it
This
easier
year,
for,
so
for me
it's expected to
come
be
to
renewed
her,
and just check in January to be sure that the same.
Yeah,
You
for
might
my own
actually, I know there
lectures.
is talk of raising this,
It's a good
but
school, it's fairly new,
things don't usually go according
there were
to.
three teachers for most of the time there.
Right.
Relatively small.
And so,
Some of the other bigger cities.
covers your living expenses, you
Their
make
headquarters.
it last for a month,
Have
as
about
you go
1,000
living in
students,
China.
so a lot of
Or they can
teachers.
be really expensive, it depends on what you're
And
doing.
each classroom had like a
And then
Chinese
in terms of
teaching assistant who if you're doing English or
Some of the
teaching.
things you might need
So
to know,
that,
you might have
that
caught
was
this.
extremely helpful to
What is
kind of,
usually.
although
I
some of the
think
parents
it came in the slides.
did speak
Okay,
some English,
so,
some did not,
this is kind of
so
what they're looking for
it's
in
very
an
helpful to
application.
communicate with those who didn't.
And so,
And also to kind of
fill out
reinforce
online
directions
forms,
in
and then you
Chinese
print it out,
and
and it's submits electronically.
sure how to play the
I
game
never
and
received my
what they
electronic
were
copy, but
expected to do, so
I took a screenshot
it
of it
didn't fall all
before I
on
sent
me
it off,
to
because I have experience in China, I know how to
figure
use it.
that
You know,
out.
the ESW,
Yeah.
Yeah,
Are the parents
I-
of the kids
Yeah, so you
affluent?
said that in
Is
a
that
hard
how
copy
they're
of what
into
you
this?
submitted on
Um,
and,
Yeah, for the most part, I mean, it's,
bachelor's, copy of your bachelor's degree,
they do come
transcripts.
from well.
This will
I
take a
know
while to
most
set
of the
up
schools
doctor's
now
appointment, and they just
have
check everything to make
English
sure that
classes,
you're
and whether that's taught by Chinese teachers, some actually have their English classes taught by foreign teachers.
Right. And,
But it's
so to do that, just before. the
probably
March
for
deadline,
the year,
varies.
it
Was
costs
the other one go like after 3 years?
After your 3 out year, yeah. The thing is, it depends on a couple of things if you want to take the bar. And if you want to go from the bar to China, because you get done the bar at the end of July, and then you need another month to get ready to go.
And I know
And so, it depends, it's up to you.
Probably
I
haven't
took,
been there
a year
longer, I probably would have maybe
after
switched over to an
doing my bar,
international
'cause I
school.
took two. I took
Kind of more of the regular
Oregon and
hours,
New York, and
being
so
in
I
the school,
had to take
2 more periods.
Nope, just, I'm from New York originally.
Probably a higher level.
Yeah,
high school.
I lost a bet, is how it
Costs
works.
more,
I said if I pass the
compensate a
first
little
one,
bit more too,
and I
but
would take the second.
those are sometimes harder to
pass,
get
I have to take the second with my father.
before you
Long
get
story.
there.
Um,
After you're there.
No, he,
School and-
no, he wanted me to take
Or
the
not knowing
bar.
anything about the
but,
language where I thought it was.
So
it worked
I
out well.
did those 2 bars and was
Hiccups along the way, but
finished and, got my results in
Hiccups
May.
here,
And
hiccups with our program, so I mean, it was,
then bar exam ended in
all around,
February, I
you have to
applied
kind
in
of
March, and then,
expect that.
got all that.
Yeah.
That's just
And roll with the
Gabe,
punches.
who,
Did,
graduated in 2012.
I feel like
bar
Shenandoah's
exam,
a
and
pretty
then went to,
sophisticated place. Was there much
China
interest
after
in
that.
getting to know Americans or not?
It's totally up to
And
you.
it was interesting because I think
Also,
of the
I
Chinese
don't-
cities,
it varies for
I think
every
where most
student,
Americans
but,
think of China, Beijing,
if you have any
Shanghai.
school loans, financial condition.
And there were a
for
few Americans there,
this year,
but I
you
think
have
they
just
tend to
make sure that's clear,
migrate to
because
those
I
bigger
know
cities,
Gabe,
Hong Kong
there were
included.
5 UFO students
And
expected
I
to
think
go.
the foreigners that were
but I think
there,
a couple of them
a
got
large,
tripped up by their own personal financial issues, so that's something to also keep in mind.
a lot
The
from
program is working on getting FAFSA certified,
Europe,
so
but most of the
if you're
English speakers
interested
were
in this
from
program,
Australia or
Right.
England.
Mhm.
right,
Kind
right,
of gravitate
and
toward that
so
city
check
for,
if you were
for whatever
interested in this
reason,
program, hire, if
and
you contact.
Maybe air quality.
yeah, fewer Americans.
Amy in Schaumburg,
Or do that.
and
Visiting
at this email address.
as
And they're
tourists
also-
and also
their
as
English is
expats
great,
moving there.
communicating with Chinese if you want.
Thank you, Jess.
They can answer any
There's an
questions on
appointment.
status of the scholarship, whether benefits have increased, whether there's an extra component to apply.
Very funny.